When you begin your trial, or if you're going to install new code, here's how you'll activate this. So when you open up for first time, you're going to be entered into this What's New area, which is our blog that shows you where all of our new updates to the program. What you'll need to do to get to the installation code is you'll click on System Setup, and then you'll go to Website Code. And then you're going to have one of these here. It'll probably say Embedded Widget and say System, and it won't have a URL, because that's what it's saying. Last URL this was used at. So you'll just have one of these listed here. When you click on it, it will expand. When it expands, it gives you the ability to name it. So like if you have multiple widgets like we do, you can name them all. You can set up which department you want the chats to initially route to. So you'll be able to, especially if you're new, you're going to be able to create all sorts of departments, and you can have widgets for different areas. So there's a lot of different configurable things you can do here. So you'll be able to set up which department it's routed to, and you can even set up the language. These are just the default languages. If you need to translate them into languages that we don't support, you have the ability to do that further down in this configuration. You also have allow file upload without agent request. So this will allow customers to send you files without any kind of, without your staff initiating it. This is unchecked by default because obviously people could send you something malicious. So unless you have a very unique use case, I would keep this unchecked unless it's the nature for your customers to do so. Underneath that, we have the look and feel. So this will allow you to customize what the widget looks like on your website. So we have a few options here. Modern will allow you to do more than Modern Legacy. Modern Legacy is an old version, so you can only customize with these colors, set the position of where you want it to present on the right or left-hand side. The Modern without legacy, like the modern, as you would say, the theme here has a custom option so that you guys can actually customize the colors, and you can see like what you'd want it to look like. So you can go in here and manipulate it. That's what a lot of people prefer. So in here, you have the ability to customize. So I would suggest if you're new, or even if you just want to give it a facelift, change from Modern Legacy to Modern. There's also a sidebar option. And I'll show you how you can preview all of these things. But a lot of people ask how to do colors. So you have your default colors, then you can just customize here if you're on the modern layout. You can set the positioning to be on the right or left-hand side of your website. And then the button has another option as well. You can change the style of the button, the positioning, and when you go offline, by default, chat will switch to an offline email form. But if you don't want that and you want it to hide, that's what this offline button state will allow you to do. It's either visible or hidden. Underneath that, we have optional CSS stylings. So this is where you can customize colors even further. So here's where you customize the color of the widget, but maybe your company's like, well, I want to go even further. Like I want this background to be this color. I want this to be that color. You can upload your CSS in here, and it will actually adhere to your website via the code. So your tech team can add CSS coding here to manipulate the look and feel of the widget. And it's not just coloring. They can make it bigger, smaller, wider, thinner. Anything that you want the customer to see, you can use CSS coding to customize it for your website. Your web team will need to do the CSS changes because that's advanced coding, but we allow that to be a possibility. So they're able to basically do whatever they want with coding to make your widget fit your needs. Underneath that, we have dictionary. The dictionary is very helpful. So the dictionary is all of the different verbiage that the widget shows. So for example, when chat begins, on the bottom right-hand side, it'll say live chat. Well, maybe you don't want it to say that. Maybe you want it to say something like support staff or whatever. You can go in and take whatever this defined area is. You can copy it, load it in here, update the verbiage. That way, instead of it saying live chat, it could say like, you know, click here for help. Whatever you want it to say. So you can go into this and update all of those and load them in here. That way, when you're looking at stuff going, oh, I want it to say this, it will. So that'll be really beneficial because back in the day, you used to have to do this all on the website. Now you can just do it in our interface. Then underneath that, we have attached systems. So this will allow you to set up which chat window you want to use. So when you're first starting out, you're going to have one chat window, but you may, if you're further in and you've made multiple windows, for example, you have different websites, different departments, and you need the verbiage to be different, you can decide which window is attached to this widget. Again, if you're starting out, you're just going to have one, and you can click here to get to edit the windows if you would need to make adjustments on the fly. We also have chat mode, which is standard and conversation. So the conversation mode, they're only asked to fill out their pre-chat information once. Chat messages aren't erased, so like when they start a chat again, everything will pick up back from where they left off. People don't use this if they deal with sensitive data or if you have any kind of HIPAA or anything like that. Most people set it to standard. That way they have to fill out chat each time and nothing is remembered in the window per se. Given how laws have changed and everything, I would say by default, set it to standard, and you can look into doing conversation mode later on if needed. You can also attach a survey to your widget. So this is where you can attach, like if you have different surveys for different departments or different sites, you can create multiple surveys and make sure the right one is attached to this particular area. And then you can set it up so that only agents can terminate chats. Again, that's a niche thing. Like you'll want your customer to be able to end chat themselves. But if you have a reason why you wouldn't want that to be, you can tick this box. And then offline window type. So depending on what you have subscribed to, if you just have chat, you'll have the leave a message option, which is an offline email form that customers can submit questions to when you're not available. If you have our ticketing system, you can use our ticket form. If you have our callback system, you can also use our callback. Or if you're subscribed to our Live Help bot, you can use our bot to answer offline inquiries. Underneath that, we have chat invitation. So if you're not using a chat bot and you just have our standard chat, you can set up an invitation to present, and you can have a time delay here. So when they hit your website, this will present to them. And you can also have it as like a message as an invite. You can have it as a chat window popping up, or you can launch the bot if you have a bot. But this is just to entice customers to chat with your team. And then this is where you can connect our other services. So if you use our knowledge base, our callback, or our ticketing system, you can attach them too so they show up at the bottom of the widget. And then at the very bottom here is the embedded code. Now, in the beginning, this won't show up until you click Save, and then this code will show up at the bottom here. This is the code you need to give to your web team to put onto your actual website. Now, before you even do any of that, there's a preview button down here at the bottom left-hand side. So when you click on this preview button, it's going to bring up a mock version of your website with the chat widget, and then you can click and see how it interacts before you decide, oh, this looks good, I'm going to put it on my website. You can go in and take a look and test it beforehand. Then you can say, okay, this is great. Then you can go and put this on your website. And the biggest thing with this whole setup, say you go in here later and your team's like, hey, I want to change this color. I want it to be orange now or something like that. You can go in and change that. And when you hit save, when you do anything here, it will automatically apply, meaning that you don't have to go and edit this code or have your web team make any changes. All updates here will change directly on your website if this code already exists. But this is a good way to get your team started, and of course we're here to help if you have any questions about setting this up, but this is how you'll get your code to begin, and then you can go on from there, and we're always here to help you.